Welcome to the Heart of a Viking. This channel offers elementary art lessons taught by Mrs. Minto from the Cape Henlopen School District in Delaware. I look forward to virtually creating with you. There are new lessons posted weekly. Subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss a single one. So go grab your art supplies and your thinking caps and let's begin. All right, hey artists, welcome back. Are you ready to become a superhero? I bet you are. All right, so what we're gonna be doing today is we're creating a picture that I call Superhero You. And what I'd like for you to imagine is I'd like for you to imagine yourself as a superhero flying high above a city sky. And your job as a superhero needs to be something that helps your community. So think about maybe being a super recycler. So maybe you're somebody who flies around, and if you see someone not recycling, you swoop down and save the day by helping them to learn how to recycle. Or maybe you are a super saver. Maybe you're somebody who flies around and you help to save all the baby animals that get themselves into tricky situations. So think about how you could possibly be a superhero, super community helper. So that's what I'd like for you to think about as we start drawing our self-portrait. All right, so let's get started. Okay, on your white drawing paper, I'd like for you to begin by placing it sideways in front of you. So sideways is how I have mine right now, not tall, but sideways. And we're gonna be drawing our superhero up here on the top half of our paper. Now, drawing yourself flying is a little bit easier if you draw yourself standing. So I'm actually gonna draw myself as my paper is this way, and then I'm just gonna turn it and I'll be flying across the sky. It's kind of cool the way it works. So I am gonna go ahead and turn my paper tall, even though eventually it's gonna be a sideways piece of artwork. Okay, so I'm gonna start with kind of like in the middle-ish here, right here. And near the left side, I'm gonna start by drawing my head. So here's my cute little head right there. I always draw my head as an oval shape. Eventually, sometimes I'll come down here to the bottom and erase the bottom and make it a little bit thinner. That's where my chin would be. So you can definitely do that too. Although I started with an oval, then I just erased a little bit. Remember that one of my secrets as an artist is to draw lightly. There's no need to press so hard with your pencil that you're making super black lines. Pencil should look really light gray. All right, now since I'm flying, the body shape looks a little bit different. So the arms are gonna be above the head here. So I'm gonna start right about here, come down just past the face. That's gonna be like my arm extended up. Come down, this is your armpit, tickle, tickle, sorry about that. And then come down past where your tummy would be, and then stop for how long you think your shirt should be. So I think my shirt is going to end right about here. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I have my arm reaching above my head, down here past my armpit, and then down to where my shirt ends. That's looking pretty good. All right, my shoulders would be like right about here and here. Okay, so now my arms look funny because they're just one stick on each side. So now I need to double the arm. So to the right of this line, I'm gonna come down, and whenever I bump into the head, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna have my arm behind my head. On the other side, I'm gonna come down, and this one is gonna go over my head. So on this one, I'm gonna have the arm in front of the head. You pick how you want yours to be. You could have both arms in front of your head or both arms behind the head. Whatever you decide is fine with me. And then if you do any that are on, make sure that you erase the line here where you have, erase the part of your face where your arm is on top of your head. All right, fantastic. Okay, so now I'm gonna keep moving down, and I'm going to add my legs. Now legs are a little bit tricky because I want to add one leg on the left side, one leg on the right side, that's normal. When I draw the bottom of my pant leg, I'm going halfway across, up, 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 almost to the shirt, but then I come back down to the other side and my other pant leg. So that's not too tricky. Just have to keep in mind you're making two pant legs there. Fantastic. And now when I draw the feet, because this actually is gonna be going this way, I have to draw the feet, both feet heading this direction. So that's my toe and my heel on this foot. And then for this foot, it's actually going behind that shoe. So I don't even have to draw the whole foot on this side. just a little portion of it because that foot is actually behind. You might not have that problem. I didn't have that problem on my first drawing, but sometimes I do. Just depends on how close or far apart you put the legs. All right, let me turn it back this way. I'm gonna go back up to the top here and I'm going to finish off my shirt by drawing a line at the sleeve, so long sleeves for me. And then I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And make sure that you make your fingers the different sizes. So take a peek at your fingers before you get started. You'll notice that some of them are taller and some of them are shorter. So make sure you try to draw them in that way whenever you're adding your hands. Observation always makes artists more accurate. Okay, so the hardest part of today, the face. So drawing the face, the eyes are the trickiest part of drawing the tricky face. I do not want you to put the eyes up here. Your eyes should not be up on your forehead. This is like your forehead in art. Always, 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 even when you're not drawing with me, always put the eyes in the middle of however tall you drew your head. So I'm gonna find the middle. The middle is right about here for me. So that means I put one eye on this side and I put one eye on this side. Fantastic. And I'm gonna have myself looking to the right here. So I'm actually, when I put it the right way, it's like I'm looking down at the city below me. Fantastic. And then I'm gonna use a little L shape for the nose. And I am a superhero who is happy to be helping. So I'm definitely giving myself a smile. Excellent. Now, if you want, you can give yourself a mask to wear. So I'm gonna make a little mask right here by drawing an M going the whole way across the face, and then an upside down M or a W going underneath of there, and I'll color that in a color eventually here. Next, I need some ears. My ears go right beside where I just added the mask. However, this arm is in the way, so no ear for that side because the ear would be under. And although I look adorable as a person with no hair, I think I'm going to go ahead and add my hair so it looks a little more like me. So to start drawing the hair, I'm gonna go about halfway up the forehead. Remember I said this was your forehead, and I'm going to begin drawing my hair. And I have long hair, which comes down past my armpits that I added before. So I'm gonna draw that. Now this one, the hair is gonna go behind the arm and maybe like show, you know, flapping out here in the wind, out here. But this hair is just gonna come down to here. Excellent. And if you have shorter hair, draw it shorter. Longer hair, draw it longer. All right, so now for the most important parts. One is a cape. Yeah, super important. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn mine this way. And I'd like for the cape to be showing on one side. So I'm gonna go like from about the shoulder area out and a little like ripply across the bottom to make it look like it's blowing in the wind. And then I'm just gonna draw some like texture, just like some little wrinkles. And then I'll color that a fun color in a few minutes. And then on the shirt here, I'm going to add a shape. You could do a circle, you could do a rhombus, you could do a square. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a circle. And I think I want my superhero to be searching for kids that don't have anyone to play with. So they're looking for people that are kind of lonely, I guess, or looking for a friend to play with. So I need a symbol for that. So I think for my friendship symbol, I think that I will have a heart. She's looking for people who need friendship. Okay, so I'm just gonna go with the heart as my symbol. All right, so my portrait is technically done. Now, I am going to take a minute and outline with my Sharpie. If you don't wanna do that, you don't have to, but I'm gonna take a second to do it. And then when you're done with that, you can jump right on in and begin to color. All right, so that part is all done. My next step is to paint a simple background. And if you don't have paint, you can totally color it. But what we're doing is making the entire sky. So everything that we paint right now is all a part of the sky. Now in my watercolor paints, You might have ones that are similar. I have the rainbow colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and I also have black and brown. So the only colors that are off limits for a sky are green and brown. Pretty much everything else could be a part of the sky. So whatever you decide to use is fine with me, except for green and brown. Try to avoid those. And whenever you are putting your colors on, and if you are allowing your colors to mix together, like I always do, called blending, if the colors are colored neighbors, like red and orange, or orange and yellow, or blue and purple, they will mix together to make beautiful colors for your sky. If they're not next to each other, then there's a chance they could mix to make something you don't want. So for example, yellow and blue are not next to each other because green's in the middle there. And if they mix together, you're gonna get an unwanted color in your sky. You're actually gonna get some green in your sky if those guys mix together. So try to only pick colors that are beside each other, color neighbors, and they will always mix together to make a beautiful color for your sky. There's one color that breaks that rule, and that's purple and red. Purple and red are allowed to mix together, even though they're at opposite ends here. If we made this into a color wheel and we put them in a round circle around each other, purple and red would be color neighbors. So you're allowed to use purple with red, and then also any other color neighbors. Okay, here we go. Always paint left, right whenever you are painting a sky, never up and down. Left, right always gets you a much better looking sky. In addition, make sure you go around your person, obviously. All right, so there we go. Now I had one problem and I noticed it and I stopped right away. Right here, I had some little dark, like orange, like pieces of something that started to get in my painting. And that was actually parts of my paper. I was either pressing too hard with my brush or I was rubbing for too long in one spot and I started to peel off a few layers of the paper. So as soon as I saw that, I stopped painting there and then continued my way down. All right, so I'm gonna let this dry for a second and we're gonna come back and do the next part. All right, artists, so now that my painting is dry, I'm noticing it has some curly edges. That just happens when the paper gets wet on the top but not on the bottom. So the best way to solve that is to curl it the opposite direction. So by curling it backwards, I can then make it a little bit more flat. So if that happens to you, that's a great solution, is to curl it the opposite way. Okay, so now we're going to make some city skyline at the bottom here. So the city that you are trying to save. So I like to start with a piece about this big. This piece of paper is about 6 inches by about 4 inches. And I challenge the students here at school when we're making this together to use this one paper to make several buildings across the bottom. Now you could just put this right here and have just one large building. But what I often like to do is I might like to cut off a piece like this, and then this is one building. Super, and I always make sure it's touching at the bottom here. Then I might take off a piece here, sideways, and make a long, wide building, almost like a factory type of styled building. Okay, then maybe I have this left, and I could go tall with it, but I think I'm actually gonna go 2 pieces here. I think I'm gonna go with a short one here, and then a like a wider, tall one here. I think I might move these down a little bit. All right, and then just kind of play with them, move them around, see where you like them. And once you finally like them and you don't want to cut anymore, you can go ahead and glue them down. I'm gonna use a glue stick. Let me move these for a second. And I'm gonna glue one at a time. I'm gonna make sure I focus on the edges. I definitely want glue to get all the way to the edges without getting all over my desk, of course. And then I put it right at the very bottom edge of my paper, press it down, flip, and press it from the back. Pressing it from the back is the secret. Remember, we've talked about this before. That friction that you, when you know how your hand starts to feel warm, that friction across the back of your paper, plus the pressure pushing down, really helps that to stick forever and ever. Oh, that looks so much better. I think that it's kind of like a magic trick. I love how flat it looks whenever you do that pressing from the back. Okay, here's my next one. And I'm making sure it's right at the bottom. I don't want to see any yellow edge at that bottom. Okay, so now I also give the students here at school a piece of yellow paper that is about 6 inches long by about an inch wide, and I challenge them to make these into windows. Oops, sorry, my ruler's falling over. There we go. I challenge them to make these into windows. So the best way that I find is to cut straight up the center, something like this. Okay, and then I make this into little squares. And I really challenge myself to make them kind of even. And I'll do one of my little strips first, glue them down, and then I'll do another one. And the fastest way that I found to glue these on is to actually put glue where you want the windows. So I'm gonna do 5 windows across here, and then grab these and stick them in. Once all 5 are in, I'll flip it over, give it a press from the back, and then continue with the next row of windows. All right, so I ended up with 3 little extra ones here. I'm not so sure that I need them, so I don't know, I might just save them and maybe use them for something else, we'll see, or maybe not use them at all. All right, let's put those to the side. So at this point, your superhero picture could be totally done. However, if you have some other scraps and you wanna make some white clouds in the sky, or you wanna add something else to your picture, you absolutely can. I think I actually have an idea for these. Let me see if it'll work. I think I might like to try. I'm gonna make a half circle out of the largest one that I had, which was this one. And I'm gonna put it right here by this building, right at the top edge. And let's see if you can guess what I am making. All right, yep, a setting sun right behind. That was a great use of that. All right, my superhero creators, I hope you had a great time making your superhero version of yourself as a community helper. I hope you had a great time, not only painting, but drawing, coloring, and collaging. We did all of those in this one project. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here next time at the Heart of a Viking.
HOB artists, don't forget to hop on over to Art Sonia to upload a photograph of your piece of artwork to your art portfolio. I can't wait to see it.